Good morning, class. Welcome to week 10 of our course. We are continuing in chapter 4 of our textbook, and we're going to check our answers to the listening part on page 85 and 86 in just a moment. But before we do, I want to start with a quick warm-up to get you thinking about a topic. Okay, so what does commercialized mean? When you think of the word commercialized, you probably think of commercial, which is what we see on TV, advertisements and that sort of thing. But commercialized, what does that mean? I put the definition in blue letters below. It means something is used mainly for financial gain or profit. Okay, so in most societies, we have businesses that want to create profit, right? So they can stay in business. But what about things like politicians and people who serve in a political office, a mayor, a governor, city council, president of the United States? Are they supposed to be there for financial gain or profit? Let's think of an example of something that's commercialized. I have put a sentence up here at the top. It says political office has become commercialized over the past few years. So what does that mean? Politicians have given themselves pay increases, and it seems like only the wealthy get wealthier after serving in office. Okay, so this person's opinion is that once a person becomes a politician, they begin to make a big profit in their lives. And that is basically commercializing a political office, because when we think of a politician, they're not really supposed to be there to make money, right? They're supposed to be there to serve and to give back to the community, to help the community, or to help the country. So this is one example of an opinion about commercialization of politics. Okay, now let's think about our topic in our book. We're talking about traditions and holidays. So what are some examples of holidays that are becoming commercialized? Are our holidays becoming commercialized? I want you to think about that, and maybe you can write down your opinion. Think of some examples of the commercialization of certain holidays. I wrote down a couple of examples here. TV ads, advertisements, and increased spending on gifts over time can create a culture of focusing on gift giving. This is my opinion about this. So what am I saying? If if we know, oh, Valentine's Day is in a couple of weeks, okay, or Christmas is coming up in a couple of weeks, what do people start doing? You start watching TV, you see advertisements for toys, for diamond rings, saying this is the perfect holiday gift, and after years and years and years, people actually become used to buying things on holidays in a way that it's like if they don't buy something, they feel like embarrassed even, or oh my gosh, I didn't, my family doesn't think that I love them, or it becomes so normal to just give gifts and receive gifts that people begin to kind of expect gifts for certain holidays like Valentine's Day, Christmas. Now, this is one opinion. This is one side of or point of view about this topic, okay? And maybe you disagree. Maybe you think holidays are not becoming more commercialized. it's still really about family and friends being together, and it's not really that focused on making a profit, companies making profits more than normal. So that's a topic I want you to think about over the weekend, because next week we are going to begin focusing on a debate about the commercialization of holidays. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to support both sides of this opinion. Okay, so for this weekend, I just want you to begin thinking about what you think about commercialization, and maybe write down some ideas that you have about it, and next week we'll talk more. Okay, so that was the warm-up for today, and next we need to check our homework. So I want you to open your books to page 85. Let's look at page 85, and hopefully you had a chance to do the listening exercise. Okay, the topic was about old traditions and new traditions and how they're changing over time. And there was an anthropologist who was speaking. And remember, an anthropologist is a person who studies human behavior over years and years of time and history. And they study how human behavior changes or how it stays the same. Okay, so we're looking at page 85. And we already answered exercise 3 together in class. So I want us to look at part 4. Part 4. And on your screen here, I'm just going to highlight the areas that we're looking at. Okay, it's this part on your screen on the right side. So you can zoom in and check out the answers here. So which picture shows a tradition that the speaker doesn't mention? That's going to be the first picture at the top, shaking hands. So you can circle letter A, shaking hands. He does not talk about shaking hands. Okay, turn to page 86. Page 86, we're looking at the notes from the chapter. So if you look in this box, it has the answers here. So we're looking at the old traditions of people preparing holiday food. People spent a lot of time and effort preparing special meals for celebrations. That was an old tradition. And a new tradition is we prepare food more quickly because of modern kitchens and supermarket food. Okay, so for me, I can think of an example. A lot of times for Thanksgiving, I get together with my family, and most of the food was prepared in the kitchen, but there's usually some pies or cookies or cakes, or a turkey that was already deboned and prepared, or sometimes salads and things. People just open a bag and pour it in a bowl. So about a third of our Thanksgiving dinner is just store-bought food. Just pick up from the supermarket and put it on the table. That's kind of a new tradition. And once again, I think that kind of ties in a little bit to commercialization of holidays, because you'll see around the holidays, you can have discounts on certain types of food. Like Thanksgiving, there's pumpkin pies everywhere, right? Just come and buy it to the table. Don't worry about cooking. Don't worry about that. That's kind of their profit-oriented way of commercializing holidays, I think. And so they want it to be quick for you and easy for you. Just get it done. Get the holiday done. Make it easy, right? And so the old tradition was to spend hours in the kitchen preparing everything from the basic ingredients, making your own pie crust, cutting up your own apples and mixing all the ingredients together and baking the pies for an hour and a half, So that's something to think about. What do you and your family do when it comes to traditions? Do you stick to the old tradition, or are you guys moving towards new traditions? Okay, so the second one is recipes. So old tradition, people use cookbooks, or even an older tradition would be people don't even use a recipe. They just remember how their mother, grandmother, grandparents, or however they learned when they were a child, they passed down that knowledge to their children and so on. That's the old tradition. The new tradition is people find recipes on the internet. Okay, and then the last one, where people eat holiday meals. Old tradition is at home, and the new tradition is restaurants. Okay, so that is the listening topic. Let's go to page 87. And we're going to talk about causes and effects. Okay, so how do we talk about causes and effects? When you think of a cause, I want you to think of something that happens that makes another thing happen or influences another thing. So a cause happens first, an effect will happen second. Okay, the cause is the reason, the effect is the result. So let me make some notes for you guys on the whiteboard here. You guys can take notes, and this might help you with your homework. So the cause is the reason, and effect is the result of things. Okay, so an easy example I like to use is an easy example would be smoking. So smoking cigarettes could be a cause, and the effect would be what? Lung problems, or even cancer, lung cancer, and that sort of thing. So that's an example. The cause comes first, the effect comes second, and they're directly related to each other. Okay, it's not just that they just happen to happen, one after the other, but there is a direct relationship. There's influence. Okay, so if you look in the orange box on page 87, you'll see there's different words they give you to help you recognize causes and effects. So the first two at the top are due to, and then the reason for this is, and that gives you the language to use to express causes. So I want to focus on a cause. For example, let's say if we use due to, we're going to use a noun after that, and the noun is going to be the cause. Then we have a comma, and then we have subject and verb, and that's going to be where we put the effect. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's think about an example of text messaging in emails as a cause. So do here's the example. Due to the increase in emails, people rarely send paper mail. And this is true for a lot of things. If you think about it, think about your water bill and your cell phone bill, your internet, things you might pay. The companies try to get you to do the paperless, right? They feel like it's convenient for everybody to just get an email with your bill in it, or your receipt. Like nowadays, when I go to the doctor or something, they say, well, we'll just email your receipt. We'll email it to you. And sometimes I'm like, wait, don't email it because I will forget to look at it. And I will need that receipt later, and I don't know if I could find it, right? So this is just an example how technology has changed our modern life. So email becomes something that's almost a requirement in a lot of ways to live in this society, right? You need to have an email address. So I would use this in a sentence with cause and effect. So the increase in emails or email usage in this country, that's a cause. And then the decrease of paper mail is the effect. And notice the structure of this that I'm using. Increase in emails. Increase in emails. There is not a subject and verb there. It's only a noun phrase. Increase is a noun. Remember, we talked about stress. Increase is a verb. Increase is a noun. Okay, so I use due to plus noun, and then after the comma, I put a subject, people, and what is the verb? Send. I've got subject and verb on the right side, and that is the effect. Okay, so let's do a practice together. Let's do a practice together. I want you to use this idea of, let me put a different color so it will be easier to notice. I want you to use the idea of modern kitchen appliances. So modern kitchen appliances and we have also less time cooking. So modern kitchen appliances, that would be a microwave, an air fryer, a blender, and food processor. So all of those little kitchen gadgets that we have, that we plug in, and that help us cook, okay? Those are modern kitchen appliances, refrigerators and all that. And then we have less time cooking. So you cook quicker, okay? More quickly. So which one of these is a cause and which one of these is the effect? Answer that first, because you're going to write a sentence on your paper. Which one is the cause? Which one is the effect? Do we have the appliances and that's the reason, that's the cause that we get less time cooking? Yes, appliances is the cause. The effect of having all these appliances is that we have less time that we need for cooking, okay? So now I would like for you to make a sentence using due to. Due to, okay? I'm going to give you a minute or two. I want you to write the cause-effect sentence with due to. You can use a word like spend. Spend goes with time. Okay, so take a look at the sentence I put up on the screen here. Due to having more kitchen appliances, people now spend less time cooking. You can just say due to more kitchen or due to modern kitchen appliances. I chose to use a gerund phrase with having. There's different ways that you could do that, but just make sure you do not have a subject and a verb after due to, okay? We need due to plus a noun phrase. Then we have a comma, and then we have a subject and verb. People spend, okay? And so that's one of them. Another way that we can use causes and effects, and this one is not listed in your the orange box, although that one is still a good example there. But another word to use is because. So I'm going to write the structure here. We've got a subject and verb that's going to be the effect, okay? And then we're going to have the word because with a subject that is going to be a cause. So in other words, I could say, let me change my colors again. How can we change our sentence about modern kitchen appliances in cooking? How can we use that with because? Go ahead and try it now, your paper. Okay, so here's what I put. I have a subject and verb, people spend, and this is the effect, right? People now spend less time cooking, okay? That's the effect. That's the result. And then I use the word because, and then I have another subject and verb that's going to be my cause. Remember, cause equals the reason. So because is telling us the reason. So I say because they have modern kitchen appliances. So I can use due to, or I can use because, but I'm not going to put them both in the same sentence. That's important to know, okay? We can use either due to or because, but not both of them in the same sentence. Okay, so this is good practice for you guys because later on in the next couple of weeks, you guys are going to do a debate where you need to give reasons for your opinion, you're going to talk about the causes and effects. You might want to use some of these words in your speeches, okay? Now look in the orange box again on page 87, and you can see there's ways to introduce effects. I already shared some of those by using just these due to and the because words. We can still use those to show effects, right? But they give you more examples, like using that's why. So they put the cause first. Like, look at the example where it says, as a child. As a child, I lived in Japan, Thailand, and Egypt. Okay, that's why I decided to study anthropology. So, because they lived in Japan, Thailand, and Egypt, they decided to study anthropology. Or we could say due to living in these different countries, I decided to study anthropology. So there's ways that we can use that's why. We can also use this means that to show cause and effect. So what you guys are going to do for homework is page 87, where you're going to listen to parts of the speech and fill in the blanks. Complete the blanks there with the words that you hear. Okay, let's turn the page and let's talk about connect speech with the D and the T sound. Okay, so let's talk about connecting the D and T. Now, on the red letters that are in the box on the top of page 88, it says connected speech, and then it has that little symbol, the T and the D. What that means is they're talking about the pronunciation of T and D. Okay, the T and the D sound. So when we, the basic idea is that we're looking at words that end with T and D, and then the next word starts with a consonant. Okay, so let me write this on the whiteboard here for you guys. Okay, so read what it says in the orange box. When people speak quickly and naturally, the gap between words are often not easy to hear. So it kind of sounds like it's all one word because people talk so quickly. People don't always pronounce all the letters in a word. For example, they don't always pronounce the T or D sounds at the end of words if they're a part of a cluster of consonants. So what that means is if you have the end of a word with a T or a D, okay, then you, and I should say, and the next word starts with a consonant sound. Okay, so if you have this condition, the end of one word has a T or D, T or D, and the next word starts with a consonant sound, like k, s, etc. Okay, then So if you have that condition, then I'm going to call it swallowing. So swallow or delete the right, swallow or delete. So this is what happens when we're speaking. I say swallow because it's kind of like we don't say it, or you can use the term delete, the D or D sound. Okay, so let me give you an example. If I have the word different, and then I have the next word, cultures. Okay, so I've got two words here. The first word ends with a T, right? A T sound. And the next word starts with the consonant, with the K sound. Okay, so I've got the situation where I ended a word with a T and the next word starts with a consonant sound. Then what's going to happen is I don't pronounce the T in different. Okay, I don't pronounce the T in different. So I would say different cultures. You guys repeat that after me. Different cultures. Different cultures. Did you hear a T? I did not say different cultures. I said different cultures. Okay? That is because of this popular pronunciation rule that we follow as a native speaker. As native speakers, we do this all the time. So look in the orange box again. There's a couple more to look at. Let's look at the word around. Okay, circle the D and around. I'm looking on page 88 in the orange box. We have around, so circle that D. And then we have the next word starts with a consonant sound, V. Okay, so let me write this to help you. Around, we have a D, and then we have a consonant sound, V. V, like the, right? Now, it's not a T sound because we do not say T, around T world, right? Even the letter is T, the sound is V because TH together can make a V sound. So remember, we're focusing on the consonant sounds, not vowels. Vowels would be A, E, I, O, U sounds, okay? So once again, we have the same situation where we've got the word that ends with D, and the next word starts with a consonant sound. So what's going to happen? How do we pronounce this? Can you guys guess? We're not going to pronounce the G sound. So we're going to say around the, around the, around the, around the. Okay, good. And there is a listening for this. If you go to the audio track 4.4, you can also hear them say these. Okay, stay in that orange box. I want you to go to the next example. I see the word world. So circle the D and world. And then the next word, what does it start with? It starts with an A, an sound. Okay, is that a consonant sound? No, that's a vowel sound. So what that means is we are going to pronounce the D. We say world and. So around the world and, we're going to say that D and world. Why? Because the next word starts with a vowel. It does not start with a consonant sound. The two examples in red on your screen, those have the second word starts with a consonant. But world and, the second word starts with a vowel. So in that case, we need to pronounce the D. Okay? So what you guys are going to do, let's do number 1 together. It says circle the D and T sounds that you can hear clearly in the bold words. What I want you to do before you start going is I want you to look for D's and T's. So the dark letter words in number 1, we have about, and we have effect, and around. We have 3 words. I want you to look at the end of those words and circle the D and T. So circle the T in about, number 1, page 88. Circle the T in effect. Circle the D in around. And then I want you to look to the next word, okay? Just like we did here with different cultures, right? We looked at the second word and we looked for consonant sounds, okay? So after about, we have the word the. Does it start with a consonant sound? Yes. So circle the TH in the. And then what does that mean that we do? That means we're not going to say the T in about. Don't pronounce the T at the end of about. So we can cross out the T in about. Okay, so in other words, what you're doing on your page is you're going to cross out the T in about, and that means we're not going to say it. So we're just going to say about the. Okay? And what about the next one with effect? And then we have of. Effect and of. What do you think we're going to do with the T sound? We are not going to pronounce, oh no, I'm sorry. We are going to pronounce the T because we have a vowel after the T. We have a vowel sound. So that means we need to pronounce the T. Effect of, effect of, effect of. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys continue that for homework. You're going to listen to audio track 4.5 and finish that page for homework. Okay, we've got one more page to talk about, and that is page 89. Okay, page 89 is pretty simple. We're talking about suffixes. So we already talked about prefixes, right? I'm just typing up here a quick definition of suffixes. Suffixes are little clusters of letters or groups of letters that can come at the end of words to create different parts of speech or meaning. So remember when we had prefixes? Prefixes are little letters that come at the beginning of words. Remember the prefix dis, D-I-S, and a prefix re, R-E. So these are not words by themselves. Like dis and re are not words. Just like suffixes are not words, but they are added to, or they're added, or they're put at the ending of words in order to show a part of speech. Part of speech means like noun, verb, adjective, adverb, or they also are used to show meaning. So let's look at the orange box on page 89. On the second column, you see it says suffix. So these, you can see all the way down, these are just little letters, all, less, double, is, or eyes, in, meant, ION, and full. So what these do is we can add them to other words to create a part of speech and a meaning. So take the word tradition. Tradition is a noun. If we add the suffix al to it, it becomes traditional. Traditional. And then it's not a noun anymore. It now becomes an adjective. So tradition is a noun. Traditional is an adjective. And it means, the al means relating to something. So you can think of a word like bilingual, right? Bilingual means relating to being able to speak two languages, and that's an adjective, bilingual. So there's other words that we can add al to, okay? So the key here is, okay, how do we know when we need to add a suffix to a word? Okay, a lot of these will be in the dictionary listed for you. You can look up the word tradition, and then under that have, okay, this is a noun, tradition, and then they'll have traditional as the adjective. So that way you know how to make the adjective correct, and you know if it's an adjective or not. So now we come back to sentence structure and why that's so important. I'm writing something here. The position of the word in the sentence will match its proper part of speech. Okay, so for example, if I have a subject position in a sentence, like let's say I'm making a sentence and I have a subject, a place in the sentence, then I need to use a noun. I could not use an adjective to be the subject. Like for example, if I say, traditional are good to have in every family. And you might say, it sounds like there's a mistake here. So what is the mistake? Is the mistake with are? Should we change it to is? Or you might say, well, why don't we make the subject plural, traditionals? But the problem is traditional, remember what we said in the orange box, traditional is an adjective. Okay, but look at my sentence. I am in the subject position. I'm in the subject position. So if it's a subject position, that means I have to use a noun. I cannot just use my adjective. So I've got to take out traditional and I put in a plural noun, traditions. Traditions are good to have in every family. So now it's a correct sentence. So you can see that the position of the word, the place of the word in the sentence must match the part of speech. Okay? So if it's subject position, then it needs to be a noun, right? Let's do number 1 together on page 89. I'll show you another example. It says Chinese New Year is a great celebrate. Now I want you to circle the word celebrate and I want you to say or write verb. Celebrate is a verb. Okay. So let's look at the position in the sentence though. We've got Chinese New Year, that's the subject, is the verb. And then we have a. A is a signal that, we need to have a noun. Remember, we talked about a and before. A table, a chair, a person. So we've got to have a noun after a. So what we need is, great, by the way, is an adjective. Adjectives can go before nouns. That's fine to put that there. So celebrate, though, is a verb. We need to change it into noun form. So we're going to use a suffix. So I want you to go to the top of the page and look at the suffixes. Which suffix should we use at the end of celebrate to make it into a noun? Take a minute and look at those suffixes. Okay, you probably see we have 2 noun parts of speech suffixes. We've got ment and we have ion. Those are both there to create nouns. So can we say celebratement or celebration? Tion would be shun. It's going to be celebration. So you can rewrite the sentence now with the correct form of the word. Celebration. Why do we need shun? Because the tion creates a noun form, the noun part of speech. Okay, so that is what you guys are going to do there for homework as well. And it's on page 89 to 90. The top of page 90 continues with some more that I want you. Okay, so today's lesson is just a lot of kind of grammar stuff and sentence structure. Why? Because we're building on our language and vocabulary. I want you to be able to talk about causes and effects, and I want you to use proper pronunciation of D and T, and then also of suffixes to have the correct suffix on a word in your sentences when you speak. So next week, I will share the answers with you for this, and then you guys are going to begin writing or preparing a debate speech where you're going to have two points that you want to share about your topic, and then you need to have some causes and effects in there, and you're going to write a couple of things that you want to say. So I want you to get ready for that by doing this sentence structure homework, and this will help give you some language that you can use in your speech. Okay? So email me, just send me an email right now if you have questions about what I said today. We had 3 different things we talked about. And I'm going to share the homework with you on the screen. Okay, so your first thing for homework is to do the textbook homework we just started in class. The second thing is I want you to know that this weekend I'll send you an email and tell you who your debate speech partner is. Next week, you'll begin preparing your speech. So, on that note, if you have a preference for um, if you have a preference for a person that you would like to be in the debate with, then email me today so I know that. So far, what it looks like is we've got 5 students that will participate in the debate. So one group will have 3 people, and the others will just be 2. And what I need to do is to share your email address with your partner that I put you with, okay? So if anybody has problems with that or you don't want me to share your email, please let me know today. And how if you really don't feel comfortable doing a debate speech with another person, you need to let me know as well today. I think it will be fun and a good learning opportunity for you guys. But I'm here to listen to you as well. So if you have any concerns, then email me today. I know how to make decisions this weekend. Okay, so I will be sending out an email this weekend, and so you can end contacting your partner this weekend or next weekend or next week, and you guys will decide on a time that you'd like to meet and do your speech together. Okay, because it will be 2 people speaking together in the speech. So that's that part. And let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now. Yeah, so just remember our last day of class is November 12th, and that's coming up in 2.5 weeks. Okay, so if you guys have any issues coming up, like any questions about how to finish this class or what assignments will be due, just let me know. We're not going to have a big final test or anything at the end. We're just going to have our Chapter 4 quiz, a lab assignment, and debate speech. And those will be your last 3 grades for this course. Okay, so that is it for today, guys. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week. Have a great rest of your week.